Hey guys, Kev here, and I wanted to show you the Divo Knives Mini Growler prototype. So this is a mini version of our Growler design that is an exclusive at White Mountain Knives. Shout out to Justin and his team at White Mountain Knives. And here is the Growler V2. This is the full-size version of the Growler, 3.3-inch blade. About 7.5 overall. Let me grab the one that matches it and we can do a little comparison. So, we did the same finish. There are some differences in construction and finish. So, when we release the Growler, the mini Growler, it will be more expensive than the Growler V2. And I will explain why as we go here, but I just want to put that out there to start. First off, this is a belt satin on 150. Well, this is D2, but the production would be 154 CM, I believe. We are checking quotes with Kubi right now to see what steel we want to go with, but most likely it will be 154 CM. There's the potential we could have bumped it to S90V or S35, but we'll see what the pricing is. We'd like to keep it as affordable as we can. My guess is these are going to come in around the same price as the Divo Match, the Mash V2s, which I believe were 150. And then the you can obviously use discount codes, Lefty10, whatever, and it knocks it down to like 135. So basically 135 out the door, shipped and everything for the knife. And we'll talk about the differences. But anyway, belt satin. This is a machined satin. It's kind of a faux belt satin look. That was before we got them to actually do belt satin. So you can see the size difference here, right? We are looking at, let me grab the ruler. We are looking at, I believe it's 2.75 inches on the blade length. Yep, that's exactly what I asked for. 2.75 on the blade length, and you're looking at 2.75 on the cutting edge. So 2.75 on the cutting edge, and I guess the blade length is technically just a bit more than that, 2.8, 2.85, something like that. And then overall, it's a smallish knife. So you can see right here is 6 inches. So we are looking at 6.5 inches basically on this guy. So basically an inch shorter overall, which makes sense. Half an inch on the blade, half an inch on the handle gives you an inch. So an inch shorter on the knife. You can see the construction is otherwise very similar. We have a slimmer blade stock, so the handle is probably going to be a little bit thinner overall just because of the blade stock difference, but it's not going to be much. We did switch it to a low profile wire clip, as you can see here. We like this clip much better than we like this clip. The one benefit to this clip is it's easier to hang on to if you have a front flipper or something. But these knives are reverse flickers and thumb flickers, so it shouldn't be a problem. Really nice to go in pocket. It's a little bit more ergonomic in the hand versus having that sort of bulbous thing. It's still comfortable. This knife is very comfortable, but just a little different there. The construction is different. I will be doing a disassembly. I actually filmed it and everything already. For some reason, it took me forever to get to a mini Growler overview video, but I've done the disassembly already. So construction in terms of body screws, the lanyard hole, the clip screw, that stuff's all the same. The pivot collar, back spacers, right? It's just a mini version of the knife. Hopefully that makes sense. So I just want to put that out there. You can front flip it like you can on the full size. If you get enough leverage, you can do the front flip. It's not really made for it, but it does work. So in terms of which versions we're going to do, we are checking with Kubi on that, but we did come up with a plan. So what we want to do is clear out the camo carbon that we have left at Kubi. So we've done projects like the Tall Boy, the Fireball, the Nips, excuse me, and we've sent camo carbon over there. So I was thinking, well, why don't we use whatever we have left there and put it on the Growler, because we updated the construction of this to match the mash and some other liner lock knives that we've done, which is different than the original Growler. So if you look at the original Growler, this knife has a liner on the show side that's heavily milled out, and it has a liner on the lock side, right? And it is a nested liner lock. So that lock bar is nested inside the handle. It's not sitting proud or anything, but it's not an inset lock bar. This is an inset liner lock, which is different. So if you look at it, there's no liner on the show side. So hopefully you can see that. No liner over here on the show side. I just noticed, is that a little nut in there? I didn't even look at that when I disassembled it. Let me, look at that. That's so cool. That's how they got the clip to mount left-handed. You have a little sort of nut situation in there to hold it in. I've probably talked about it in the disassembly. I don't know. On the titanium versions, see, that's the difference. On the titanium versions, it just screws into the tie. And I think I took apart, did I take apart this one? I might have done this one in the disassembly, so I didn't even notice. On the carbon ones, you have that sort of nut. It's kind of like a Medford in a way. Interesting. Cool. I didn't realize that. We asked them to shrink the Growler, and then we asked for a few updates in design. And we asked it to be a inset liner lock. I think Colin drew it up or whatever. But I don't think we did anything with the clip screw there. So that, I think that's Kubi who came up with that idea, which is great because you obviously need to mount the clip in here, but there's no liner. So it's got to be done somehow. And because it's carbon, you can't go into it like titanium. So anyway, the versions we're going to do are a bunch of different camo carbon. So I think there's going to be 80s and the purple and black pearl. And I think we do have Brittany blue, but I think we're going to wait on that because that's sort of a color we like to use with Blade Binge as an exclusive. This whole knife is a White Mountain exclusive. So I don't know if I want to do Brittany blue just to respect them. But it looks like we'll have quite a few of 80s, quite a few of purple, and just a handful of black pearl. Now, the 80s, I think when I say quite a few, I mean like, I don't know, 40, something like that. With the purple, I think it's like 32, and then like 7 black pearl. So those would be all the camo carbon versions. And then we would do some weave, probably, 100 or so of the weave. Maybe 100 in this configuration, because I know there's going to be people who want to match their full size, I'm guessing. And this version is always popular. And now with the inset liner lock and not having a liner on the show side, this thing is so lightweight. I'm pretty sure it's like 2 ounces. It might be 2.5 ounces. It's something stupid like that. And then the titanium ones are like 3 ounces. So, very cool in that sense. But yeah, I believe we're going to do these 2 versions. We may be doing the blue collars. They might just be black. I think it depends on what Kubi's going to allow us to do, because we came up with like, it ended up being like 8 versions because we wanted belt satin and black wash of each. So anyway, we'll see. But there will be some weave versions. And then we want to do titanium, which is cool. This will be the first time the Growler will see titanium. We've done carbon. We've done G10, we've done weave, or we talked about that, and we've done aluminum. We haven't actually done any titanium. We haven't done any micarta. We prototyped it once, but we never did it. And so we finally got titanium on the Growler. It's the mini Growler. And if this goes well, we'll try to translate it to the large one. We'll see. But obviously the price is going to be more because it's titanium now. It's not carbon or aluminum. So that's why I was saying it's probably going to match the MASH V2 pricing. Literally the same exact construction. You have no liner over here, inset lock bar here, at 154 cm, and then you'll have the various blades, belt satin, blackwash, whatever, right? So that's why I think the price is just going to match that. On the carbon ones, because I know people are going to say, well, why was this one 109 and this one's going to be 150? Well, I've talked about this in the past. This one should have been more expensive, and we just didn't price it higher because we had G10 available and we had aluminum available, and those were more affordable. So we just tried to keep them all within that 99 to 109 range. And we just didn't want to have one that was like 150 and then another one that was $99. It just seemed weird. Plus, this one has the machine satin, and this one has the actual full liners in here. This one has belt satin, which always costs us more. And then it has an inset lock bar, no liner over here, which is going to be more expensive because of the engineering that goes into doing that. It makes it less of a budget knife, honestly. So that's my explanation on it. We should have charged more, and then the construction and everything actually does justify it. And then we're kind of doing the same thing we did here, where we brought the price down to meet the aluminum and G10. In this case, we're going to bring the price up a little bit to match the titanium and fat carbon, if that makes camo carbon, if that makes sense. I am thinking we might change the weave pricing to be a little lower. We haven't gotten the costs yet. So depending on what they charge us on this, if it's less than the titanium and everything, which I think it will be, then maybe this one would be like 130 or something, and these would be 150, and the camo carbon would be 150. We might do that. You know what I mean? So just bear with us. We'll do what makes the most sense. We'll obviously try to make it as affordable as possible. We always do that. But we do have to make some money. We really took a hit margin-wise on the carbon Growler V2s because of what we did on the price. And then we did a full run of just carbons, and then we felt bad raising the price later on that drop, so we kept it the same. And then we did a full run with that super low margin. So this time we're going to try to come out and, you know, make it where it needs to be. So anyway, there will be weave versions. This one has black wash on it, and it's gorgeous. I mean, all blacked out with the black wash and the weave. This is one of my favorite versions, to be honest. I like it better than the belt satin. It just really feels good all blacked out. Man, it's so lightweight too. And I think that's cool. It's going to be like the MASH, like the nips, where people will be able to decide. Do they want that ultra lightweight, just disappears kind of EDC knife? Or do they want to go with the titanium and get a little bit of that heft that you would get? Not that it's heavy, it's 3 ounces on a 2 3/4 inch blade. So it's basically that ounce to inch ratio. But you can get ultra lightweight as well. So it'll be a cool balance, I think. For the other versions, so we talked about weave and we talked about camo carbons. So I think total there's going to be like 60 or no, like 80-ish of the camo carbons. And then we'll probably do like 100, 150 of the weave. And then the rest of them, which will probably be another 200 maybe, will be in titanium. And this is the one finish that we really were trying to get done for this knife specifically. We wanted to see if Kubi could hit that sort of dark wash, aluminum oxide blast, titanium finish, much like a CRK or like a Jack Wolf. right? To kind of look like that, and it does. It's perfect, honestly. They did a great job, and we're really glad that it came out well. So I think what we're going to do with this one, at least the plan right now, like I said, we're waiting on quoting. Things could change. But I think we're going to keep the handle the same, and then it'll be a belt satin. So just imagine this blade, basically. Imagine this. And I think that's going to look really spiffy right there. So belt satin with it. And then, because the stonewash is nice, but I don't know if it goes with this handle very well. So what we might do instead is flip-flop it, right? So the belt satin will come over here. And then the ones we do in blue, because we do like the blue. And I think we're going to do, like I said, we want to do black ones and satin ones for each knife. So I think we might switch it to where, black wash and uncoated. So I think we might do stonewash on the blue aluminum. So that way we get to work in a stonewash for people who like that. And we get to work in the blue aluminum. But then we'll also have black wash with blue aluminum. That'll, I think, look cool. And then this will also have a blacked out version. Not a blacked out, but black wash blade with this black hardware and everything, and then the dark wash. And I think that's going to look super sexy. So basically, we're going to have a bunch of versions of this knife to sell for you guys if you're interested. It feels great in the hand. It's really comfortable. It's definitely more my size. I love the Growler. It's one of my favorite knives we've done because it's just such a good slicer. Super comfortable. Good EDC knife. The one downside is you don't have a super pointy tip to do detailed, kind of utility cutting. Now with the Mini, it's a little easier to get that tip up and into the package or whatever it is versus the full size where it's just more knife. For me anyway, right? So for my size hand, large glove size hand, I like the Mini a little better because I can just put my finger right here on that last little jimping and boom, I'm cutting into that tape and it's perfect. So I love the size. Hey guys, wanted to just see how the Mini Growler prototype does cutting some stuff. So this is a Mini Growler, not full size. Same design, so it's still got a nice tall blade for the size. So we'll see how it does. Flat grind. Double wall. Excellent. Not gonna have the most penetrating tip, obviously, but you can get it in there. That's for sure. That's what she said. Yeah. I'd say she cuts. One thing I wanted to note, another change, is the lock bar access. So we tried to add a little bit more, and we got rid of the jimping. So some people really like the jimping. I don't mind it, but I do think it can be a little uncomfortable if you have a sore thumb or whatever. It can be a little uncomfortable there. And I don't think you need it on this one. It's got a nice chamfer as well there. And it's just so easy to activate this lock bar. The thumb flick is money on this knife. The reverse flick is money. I think the acoustics got a little bit better just because you have the just inset lock bar, and then you have milled titanium or milled weave or whatever on the other side. There's not two liners that can, kind of hurt the acoustics a little bit. You can get a good thumb flick left-handed as well. Great reverse flick, left-handed, just really easy to operate, fun to operate. There's the clip on the left side, of course. And just a fun one. Just a fun little guy. It's got that full-length jimping, thinner stock. We can look at that real quick. I'll get you guys out of here. And like I said, I have a disassembly video coming for you as well. So blade stock. Usually I think you gotta get it back here. Is that more accurate? Yeah, 0.114. I think it's closer to 0.11 on the blade stock. Which, let's see, in millimeters, what would that be? 2.5, I think. Maybe it's 3 millimeter stock. But then what is the full size? Because I don't think it's the same. Well, 3 millimeters. Oops. 2.9. So it's not the same. I mean, to me, it looks obvious. Yeah, it's obviously much thinner to me. Excuse me, sorry. I mean, look at that. That's a big difference. I don't know. Anyway, specs will be listed. You know that. What else? The handle thickness was one I wanted to check. This should be slightly thinner. Yeah, look at that. 0.44. Pretty sure this guy is like 0.47? 0.45. Man, this thing's just thinner all around than I expected it to be. But yeah, so a little bit thinner. Let me try this again. Let me see if I use the flat. See, I don't know if I can. Can I? Well, try. Now it's saying 0.15. Dude, is this thing broken? Or is it just because I'm using the thinnest part? If I go, yeah, see, back to that. I don't know, guys. That's an interesting one, but it's definitely not thicker than the full size. It's thinner, and of course, it's a shorter blade, but you still have that tall, broad blade, flat grind. It is a slicer, guys. I have, I think I did some cutting with it. Brief cutting just to show it. I think I have that. I'll try to add it in if I remember. But you can imagine if you had a growler, have a growler, you know what it feels like. This is just as good, if not better. And then, of course, I didn't really show it, but this is the blue titanium, blue anodized titanium. I carried this one quite a bit, so I've already marked it up a little bit. There was one day where I stupidly had it in pocket and put my keys in there as well. So my keys were just, you know, banging around with my blue anodized knife, which is pretty dumb. There's a little bit of Loctite, or no, it's super glue, I think, from the disassembly video. I screwed up there too, so you know how it goes. But yeah, nice blue titanium. I think we want to run the blue. I know a lot of you guys like the blue mashes, so I think it would be a fun one to do, but I don't know, maybe a stonewash blade and then a black wash version as well. Let me know what you guys think. It's got the same kind of plunge grind and everything as the full size. I guess it is shrunken down a little bit, so I don't know if that affects it at all. We could look at that. It does look like it's not quite as good. This one you can see clearly the you know, the plunge grind ends well before where the edge terminates, where, yeah, look at that difference. Interesting. Okay. So that's definitely something to note, that you might get a smile working on this one where you wouldn't on that one. I don't know what we could do to adjust that, if it's a big deal, but we'll see if they can do that. They would just have to, maybe they could just bring the, yeah, look at how much of the this area right here is sticking out of the handle, right? See this? And then on the full size, there's a lot less. So maybe they can bring this part in a little bit and extend that. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna need to do. We'll look at it. So there you go, guys. That is the mini growler prototypes. We are already talking to Kubi and working on getting that quote so we can put this into production. We have talked to White Mountain. They're good to go on it. So we just need to choose the versions, make any changes, and roll. I could sell these to you guys right now. These are just 4 prototypes, but I would be perfectly happy with it the way it is. I mean, that little plunge grind thing aside, it's not like it's bad. I think it comes in like right here, right? It just, you have a lot more on the other one, but I don't know how much of a big deal that is. And you can always tell a difference between the, yeah, look at that. When you look at the belt satin and you look at the black wash, that's the difference. Got it. So the black wash ones, you have a much better plunge grind. Look at that. Because it doesn't need to be hand ground or whatever. Whoever's doing that hand grinding isn't bringing that back as far. Huh, that's really cool to see. That is something you notice when it comes to belt satins. They're just, because they're done by hand, it's a little different. See this one, the stonewash as well, has more space, more like the full size. And we didn't have belt satin on the full size, so that kind of explains that, right? Or helps explain it. So I guess that's a trade-off for a belt satin finish. So there you go, something to note. Let me know what you guys think. I'm actually going to send these off to Colin so he can do his checking out and researching and changing and whatever he wants to do on it. And I'm also going to send him the saloons here because he hasn't checked out either of these yet. I've been hogging them. Just took me forever with all the drops going on to get to these videos. I'm super stoked on this one as well. We have some changes we want to make, some minor changes, but dealers are excited about that one, so that's cool. But yeah, I love you guys. Let me know anything in the comments, any feedback you have. Now is the time to give us that feedback. There's not much really to change on these. The plunge grind thing, for a second there, but then I realized it's because of the belt satin, so I don't think that can be changed. We can ask, of course. But if there's anything else you guys, you know, would like to see, you know, let us know. And that's it. We love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and catch you later. Peace.